Hello, Mr. Moore. Hi, Mr. Moore. I don't know if you could hear me or not.
Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Oh man, I've been just running all day. So
Oh my gosh.
So forgive me.
Oh, no worries. I assumed that the Educate California was you and I was
Yes.
saying hello. So
It was good to see you. How are you?
good. I don't think we've met. I am
I was
just through email.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm the intern working with the parent power groups.
Oh, okay.
So I will be introducing you and I will help with any logistical issues or anything like that. Do you have a presentation that you're going to be sharing?
I do have a PowerPoint, and I actually cannot, unfortunately, send it to you because it is a proprietary PowerPoint. So
No worries.
I wanted to make sure, and if I can't do it through that way, I can do it through our website, but I've done it many times through sharing the screen. So as a matter of fact, should I go ahead and give that a shot, give that a try?
Yeah, let me make you host.
My button actually is green, so I may be, let's see. Yeah, it says I can share. 1 second.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's where we'll start from, right?
Beautiful. Okay, great. So yeah, I got your bio. I got a copy of your bio.
Okay.
And how it normally goes is I just kind of let you lead the discussion, and when you want to start, do you want to wait a little bit until more people show up? Do you want to start promptly at 6? Because we respect your time, we respect the time of the participants who show up on time, but really it's up to you. I mean, the allotted time is 6 to 7:30. If you think that waiting a little bit would still enable you to end at that time, or if you need to start sharply at 6, I'm here to support as well.
Okay. Yeah, normally I would start, maybe 6:05 in that area.
Okay.
I normally let folks know we'll wait a few minutes, and
Right.
hopefully that way I can, speak to us from some of them and learn a little bit about them, and how old their kids are, what grade they are in, and that type of thing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and then we'll get started at the latest at 6:05.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the bio that you sent, Miss Naomi, is that the introduction? Do you want me to introduce you? Do you want to introduce yourself? Again, I'm here to support.
Yeah, actually, I kind of go through that in my introduction. So
so maybe it would be redundant.
Yeah, it would be. You could probably just, let them know that we're joined today by Eric Moore, founder and CEO of Educate California, and whatever else you'd like to say, and then I'll just jump in from right there.
Okay. Educate California.
Yeah, so I'm the founder and CEO of Educate California, and actually, matter of fact, here it is. So that tells you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the first slide. So yeah,
Great. So yeah, that's what I'll do then. It'll be very short and brief, and I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
And then you do what I'm sure you do best, is sharing this information and these resources with the parents. And how do you want me to kind of manage the chat box, or do you kind of want to, again, this is your show, I'm just here to support. Do you want me to do?
Yeah, that would be perfect. If you could manage that, and at any point in time, if there's, some question that you think is pertinent, just say, interrupt and let me know, and I'm going to let them know to do that also. There's no need for them to raise their hand or, go into the chat. Well, they can go into the chat box in this case.
Right.
And I'll let them know to do that. But yeah, I do very informally, and I like to have as much interaction between myself and the folks as possible. So I'll let them know, unless there's a lot of traffic in the background. It's okay to unmute for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I have four dogs, so I'll let them know that.
Oh, I know. I've been locked in my room because my dog has been super sensitive lately, letting me know every time somebody walks by my house or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that's for me. That's a nonstop, everyday thing. So so I'll let them know that they may be greeted by my dogs occasionally during the conversation.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Okay, yeah, definitely. I could do that. And since you're going to kind of encourage interaction, I can tell you from our previous sessions, workshops, they're interactive. There's a dialogue that the community and the parents engage with the speaker. So
okay, good.
Yeah, that is
do they
good.
normally sit on camera, or what do you do?
Both.
Oh, okay.
I would say both.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes when they log in, there's a lot of background noise, and I have been kind of taking it upon myself to mute them because sometimes they don't remember.
Right. No, that's perfect. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
To keep them on mute unless they, and let them know that they have the ability if they need to, but they should stay on mute.
Yeah.
In the beginning, though, before in the little waiting room, I guess, area when we're waiting for everyone to join us, we could just leave everybody unmuted.
Yeah.
And, so I can ask them questions and they can just
absolutely. And I only do that if I find that there's a lot of background noise that maybe they don't realize is coming through, because I've been guilty of that in the past. So
I'm the king of background noise. So.
Yeah.
So how's it going over at Wooten? Everything's virtual, I know.
Everything is virtual. I mean, we're still doing a lot of tutoring. We're having good responses with the parents for the parent power groups, which is great. Some of the virtual outings and things like that have been successful. I think that they're looking to the center for assistance in navigating this new reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that having these dialogues with regards to the parent workshops are still important, because it's information that they still need, whether we're in lockdown or whether we're in person again. Kids still need to plan for college. They still need to know how to do a budget. They still need to, all of those things don't stop.
Right.
So I think they're finding that balance between COVID and the rest of the demands that we have as parents and students and everything else. So
and the weird thing is that the parents have been kind of thrust into a position of having to do stuff that they weren't used to doing, and that's kind of where we come in, quite frankly. Is
absolutely
that's why a lot of people use our program, is the reality is that, and I'm doing something in the background of speaking, so if I lose my train of thought, forgive me.
Oh,
But,
no worries, no worries.
We're kind of in a position where our goal is to work with the folks. Well, our goal is to affect the fact that there are 620 students per counselor nowadays in our high schools. And that's how I got started with the program, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But our whole program was founded on that whole issue, the fact that when I learned that my son's school had, at that time, 800 and some kids per counselor, I said, no, that can't be possible. And that was, in 98, that was 22 years ago.
Wow.
And I found out that the state average was actually worse. It was like 945, So it's gotten better. It's down to 620, but still, realistically, how can someone really, and a lot of the counselors have other, responsibilities that they have. So if they don't have the time to sit down with the student and to give them their undivided attention, if you will, for more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes at the max, either the parent needs to step in there and understand the role and to be able to, at least, when they do have a chance to meet with the counselor or to talk to the counselor, they have, articulate, clear, or concise, pertinent questions. They, need to use that time as much as possible, not just, so how's he doing, So that's my job, is to say to the parent, look, you need to know these basic things. And once you know these basic things, it'll make that conversation a lot better. And you'll be able to have much better conversations with the counselor. And frankly, if you want to take it to that next level, you can take your knowledge all the way up to where, I get it. I know where my kid stands. I just want to know, where do you think you're the best options for him? And, that type of situation. So there's levels of parent engagement that the parent can go through, and we'll talk about that too.
Well, that's great. That's great. I know it's difficult navigating even with like some sort of educational background, and you look to them to provide that information, but it's hard to ask a question you don't know to ask.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I say that a lot, quite frankly. There's a lot of times where parents don't know what they don't know. And
right, it's true.
That's how I got started. Is I thought I knew a lot, and then I realized, well,
so much that I don't know, so much.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and can you imagine those poor kids who parents are too busy trying to keep a roof over their head? They don't even have that time to engage.
Yes, exactly. And many times, the kids are first generation, so there really isn't a support system at all, really, for the kids. So, unless they have, this much knowledge themselves, and I work, I'm moving away from working with youth directly, because I've been kind of moving in that direction of moving, focusing specifically on parents. And that's kind of what that's my goal to be, is to work specifically with families and parents. And so, because I think the impact is 10 times bigger.
Yeah, I think
you work with the parents and if you work with the students, quite frankly.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So hopefully that's what, well, no, actually not hopefully, that's definitely what we're going to be doing.
I'm excited.
So, yeah, but this should be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a parent myself. Okay. My kids are older. They're both in college now.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, college is not the end goal.
Yeah.
It's like leaving college with a plan, being engaged, being part of your community, an active part of your community. Yeah. It's not just a degree now. It's more like you have life planning.
Right. And actually, it's leaving high school with a plan, so that you're ready for, what exactly am I doing? Am I going to the college that fits my needs? Is this really what I want to do? What am I doing? What am I really good at?
Yeah.
There's all kind of different questions that the student needs to be able to ask themselves to choose a college, whether it's community college, UC,
right?
SU, frankly, community college makes a lot of sense for a lot of people.
I went to community college. I loved it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it makes a lot of sense, especially right now for a lot of people. And
Absolutely.
so you know, I'm very frank with people, and I let them know, hey, we all family. I'm gonna talk to you. I don't talk to you like a teacher. I'm gonna talk to you like this guy who his kid brought home a bad report card, and that led to him starting a nonprofit. And so that's all I am. I was a parent who created a nonprofit because my kid was struggling, you know.
That
And
is so cool.
yeah, I didn't expect to do it, and 22 years later, I still can't believe
That is really a cool story.
it.
That is,
Thank you.
that's love right there.
Yeah, it is a little bit craziness, but love to.
A little bit crazy. I think craziness goes with parenting automatically. So
Yeah, yeah, I'm a little touched occasionally, but it keeps me rolling.
yeah.
All right, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to step off the screen for a moment,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get prepared, and then I'll be back about 5 minutes till.
Sounds good. Sounds
And
good.
I look forward to getting started.
Me too. Okay. All
All right,
right.
thank you.
I'll be here.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, bye. There we go. I'm back.
Hello.
Hello again. All right. One second.
No worries. I'm here.
It's my sister.
I love this supportive family, even if they're not blood related.
Exactly. Right. My sister from another mother.
Great. It. Love it. So I also wanted to let you know, Mr. Moore, that I know that you had exchanged with
Eric.
Oh, okay, thanks. Eric, that you had exchanged some information or some email with Miss Naomi about any handouts that you'd like to share afterwards. And so what I have been doing is asking for participants to put their email in the chat box because we haven't been collecting them as they register or log on. So this is kind of a way that we could get hold of them. And then at the end, we share a copy of the video as well as any handouts that you wanted to share. So if there are things, just know that we will be sending that out on your behalf. Anything you want to share or don't want to share, just let me know.
Okay. We have an actual, what they're going to get is a promotional code to go onto our website.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so because what I'm going to be showing is a PDF today, just because it's easier as far as the flow of what I do.
Right.
But what it is, that entire PDF is hosted on our website. So we will be giving them a promotional code to log into the website to create a membership so that they can access the entire thing for free.
Great.
Yeah. So
that's very generous.
They'll get that tonight, and then you can send anything additional after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
So let me get back to. I wonder if I don't know if Alberta's having a problem with connecting the audio.
I see that. Yeah, a lot of times when people are logging on, they might log on with their phone or we have a lot of people in the car getting around.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
They want to be part. They want to listen to the discussion and learn what they can.
Yeah, that's great. So,
I know.
Glad for anyone who can attend.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We are going to get started in about 5 minutes. Give other participants a chance to log on, so we appreciate your patience.
For those of you who have logged on, can you verify that you can hear me, that you can communicate with me? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Hey, how are you?
Wow, how are you?
Good. I'm glad you can join us. Can't quite see you. The sunlight's behind you there.
Exactly. I'm incognito today.
I got it. No worries.
I'll work on it.
No worries. No worries. No. I dig. I would be incognito too, but I'm present.
Yes. You are the star today. We need to see you.
You get to see me with about 4 hours sleep last night. So.
Oh yeah, you and I both. That's why I'm incognito.
Okay, I feel better. I feel better. Hello, Alberta.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. It's okay. You can hear us. Okay.
I'm sorry, there's two of me,
Oh, no,
but
that's cool. No, no worries.
you know, the high schooler was using my computer and I don't know what he did to the audio on the computer.
Hey, you might even want to have the high schooler see what's going on today. That might even be a good thing if you want to corral him and him or her and say, look,
He's on another class,
oh,
but
okay, okay. No worries. There's going to be a recording, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully you can go back and see the recording. But I'll tell you, the best possible scenario for this particular webinar / workshop, because I do the same thing live, is for you and your student to be together. And that's the best possible scenario. So don't worry, I'm going to be doing more of these.
actually, this is my second rodeo. I think you did the one with West Angeles. Were you at West Angeles?
Oh yeah, lots. Yeah.
Okay, because my daughter and niece, we did the West Angeles one. So
Oh,
she just graduated from University of Wisconsin-Madison.
oh, very
And,
cool.
you know, lost my mind at 43, had another child.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So,
Oh my.
so at 58, I have a 15-year-old.
Okay, okay.
You did that, girl,
Superstar.
Alberta. We all need to walk in your shoes. You have the strength and patience of Job.
It is something.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't have a high schooler. I actually have an elementary schooler. So I
Very cool.
figure I can take this and hopefully apply something for her.
That's
But
My
believe it or
soon-to-be
not,
fifth grader.
that's the
it
good
goes
thing.
fast. Before you know it, you know,
It does.
Yeah.
Does.
they were doing their little 5th grade stuff, and then they're in high school.
You're
Yeah.
scaring me, Miss Alberta, now. Hold on.
Oh, and I'll scare you even worse. My youngest is 30 this year. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I have a 30 and 36-year-old. So I started this many, many years ago, and it gets a little better, but not much. Don't worry.
You do not look like you have a 36 or 30-something-year-old.
I
Wow.
know.
You know, see, now you win the prize. That's how you win the prize, right? I got to figure out what that prize is, but
Right. Make it good. I worked hard on that one.
That is funny.
the check is in the mail.
Oh man, yeah. So my 5th grader, she's got an older sibling who is about to go into her senior year, but it's a whole new world for these kids. I feel like I raised 2 different kids in two different settings.
Yeah.
That's different. You know, even mine that's 6 years apart, I think. That's how they, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, it is a big difference. I have to say, even just in 6 years, that's what mine are too. So no, you'll get some information for both of them. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Welcome, Geraldine. Can you hear us also?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
Hey.
You can stay incognito if you want to, or you can join us.
I just got in from work, so I'm just trying to get settled.
No, we had a discussion about that. Which one should we do? So whichever one is fine. It's fine with me. Either's fine.
Okay. I'll probably join a video a little bit later. If you don't mind.
He just put you all on the spot, huh, Geraldine?
I know.
I didn't mean to put my glass like that. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My wife would have told me, "What did you just do?" I can't believe he said that. Okay. All right, well, you know what? It's 6:06, so I'm gonna be mindful of you guys' time, and I'm gonna get started if that's cool. Shall I get started? Yeah. You have anything else you want to say, Rebecca?
I do, yeah. Other than, thank you all for joining us this evening. This is our final workshop in Wooten's Parent Power workshops. And we are joined today by Mr. Eric Moore, founder and CEO of Educate California. So with that, sir, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And thank all of you for joining us tonight. This is actually one of the funnest part of my job. So I get to kind of go through the presentations and to be with folks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk a little bit about the program, the Life Prep Academy, and just to get started with who I am and how I got started. Up until '98, I was a financial planner. I worked with American Express and Wells Fargo before that. And and thought that that was going to be my career, and was on my way to opening my own office. And unfortunately in '98, my mother passed, and I took some time off and decided that I was going to kind of, you know, move back into the family home, which in this case was in LA, near Crenshaw High School, right actually near Merck Park. So I decided to move back over there and put my son my eldest into Crenshaw High School. And actually, I'll back up a little bit. Most of you guys know the area, I'm sure pretty well. So I grew up on 3rd and 42nd Street. So I went to 42nd Street School, tested really well in the 5th grade, and that meant that, hey, I saw somebody's hand going up, okay. So I went to 42nd and tested really well, and because of that, they decided that I was going to not go to Audubon and Crenshaw, but they sent me to what is now called LACES. You probably have heard of LACES. So at that time it was just called CES before they added the LA to it. And so it was a very cool school, but that meant I never went to the home schools. And instead of going to Crenshaw, I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning and on the bus stop and on my way to Birmingham High School, which is out in the valley in Encino. And great education, no complaints or anything like that. But I never got the Crenshaw experience, and some of my friends did. And then they literally ones that lived on the same block, they didn't test as well as I did, so they went to a different school. So fast forward that, my son's at Crenshaw High School. My mom's passed, and he's been there for maybe 6 months, and he brings home like a horrific report card. And so I'm like, hey man, what's going on with you? I know you're stressed out. What's up? And he says, Dad, I'm sick of school. I don't even want to, finish school. And I said, whoa. So then you gotta, tell me what's going on. And long story short, he was depressed, and we didn't know why. And I decided, well, it was time for Dad to jump in and figure out. I had some time off, so I decided to go up to the school. And I went to Crenshaw, and I met the principal and the vice principal. And I met one of the counselors, and I said, so how many kids are at the school? And they said about 2,300 at that time, back in '98. It's down to like 700-800 now, which is weird. Yeah, they said 2,300. And I said, how many counselors do you have? And they said 3. And I said, whoa, what are you talking about? And they said, yeah, we have 3 counselors. So I said, that's almost like 800 kids per counselor. So they said, yeah, that's unfortunately where we are. And so that's how everything got started, really, was I went off. I was like, no, that can't be right. I mean, I talked to I came back to the school for 3 days straight, literally. And I met everybody on the campus and joined the parent league and everything I could, because I was just appalled about that. I actually wrote a story about me in the LA Times, but the result of me doing that was my son kind of snapped into a weird situation. He's like, okay, Dad's really into this. And he saw me getting involved. And so I said, well, look, we got to figure out what's going on with you, man. So first off, not graduating is not an option. You got to graduate. You got to do, and I want you to go to college. Me and your mother went to college. You should go to college. You the smart one in the family, And so I had to figure out what I was going to do with him. So that's how it started the journey. I took a little time off and started doing research. And the research went from, filling up a little folder to filling up a binder. And in that research process, I found a book that was produced by the county of LA. And it was called Life After High School. And it was a cool book. It talked about, pretty much all the things that students need to know for high school. And so I called up the county and said, can I order a couple of these? Because I wanted one for myself and a friend. And so I ordered a couple. And then every time I started talking to everybody, I said, hey, I want a copy of that. So I decided, since my background was doing workshops, that's what I did anyway. I said, hey, I have a few friends that have been talking about doing this, so I'll do a workshop with them, with those friends. So I ordered 10 books. And long story short, I ordered so many books over the course of the next 2 or 3 months that they asked me, they called me and said, what are you doing with these books? Because normally schools buy the books. And I told them what I was doing was I was working with parents. And they said, hey, that's cool. Why don't you come sit on our board? And so I did that. And I did that for 8 years, as a matter of fact. And what I learned in that period of time was that what I'm going to show you tonight, this book that now is our book, the book was created back in 1974, okay? It was created by the lead counselors in Northern California, and they wanted to have a curriculum for doing professional development with other counselors. And what happened was I heard that Ed, the guy who actually created it, heard some counselors talking about a subject at a workshop or something like that, and they were saying different things. So he said, no, I want everybody to be on the same page. So it went from doing professional development workshops to handing them out to students. So this resource is a little different format now because I've been working on it for 9 years. But the original resource has been actually given out to close to 5 million students since 1974. It is the guide that is still being used in schools in many cases to help students. And hopefully you guys have seen this before. So anyway, I decided that once I had been doing all these workshops, that I was going to take more time and more time. After 2 years, I decided to start a nonprofit. The nonprofit is called Educate LA. The goal was to help parents, and it eventually became Educate California. And when it became Educate California is when I took over the production of this book. So we're going to walk through the guide itself. And this is a very informal, webinar. If you have a question, just let me know. You can unmute yourself, or you can put it through a chat, or anything you need. There's not a whole lot of us, so we can be very informal. And once again, we're just kind of gonna walk through, and let's go ahead and get started. This is me. Once again, I'm the founder of the Educate California. I'm also a special consultant to the Cal State. I serve as a board member for a group called the Executive Service Corps, which helps nonprofits do what they do better. So we teach them how to build boards. We teach them how to fundraise. We teach them how to build strategies and that type of thing. I'm also on the board of the California Police Activities League, so we do a lot of mentoring with youth to help them avoid activities and having negative influences with the police and so forth. So a lot of fun with that. We have 2 resources. The first one that we're going to be actually talking about tonight is the Life Prep Academy guide, which is on the left. We also were asked in 2019 to create a resource specifically for students that are foster, homeless, immigrant, special needs, and those that are in probation or have been formerly incarcerated. So we have a whole different guide, and I'm going to be giving you a link to our website and also a promotional code, so you'll have access to both of these at the end of the presentation. Our goals really are for you to gain confidence understanding how to prepare your children for college. That's the main thing, is that most of the parents I talk to, they want to be involved, they're just not sure how. You know what, actually, I forgot to do something. What I'm going to do, I'll do it later. I'm going to cheat and just do it later. What I normally do with this is I send out a pre and a post workshop survey, okay? So I'm going to cheat. You guys are going to have to think about how you feel about this stuff right now, okay? And then after the presentation, you're going to fill out a post one also, but I'm going to see the pre and post at the same time because we don't have time for me to go back and set that up right now. But make sure that please that you do that for me. Fill out that survey so I know that you learned something from tonight, but there'll be a pre and post. But the main thing is that hopefully you'll gain confidence in how to prepare your students for college, for them, how to explore the different majors and careers, how to choose the right college really that is going to fit their major in the career, because that's something that students sometimes don't do properly. And of course, how to pay for college, which is the most important for most folks that I talk to. You'll learn everything you need to know about the CSU and the UC requirements. That's those A through G. You'll develop an academic plan or have the ability to develop a plan for your students, so you'll know that they're on track all the way through. And the main thing is the understanding and maximizing the internet-based resources. When I was telling you when my son was struggling, so just to finish his story off, he said, "Dad, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not getting it. I'm all of a sudden, I'm really not getting it." And I said, "Do you understand about learning styles?" And come to find out he didn't understand about that. And I didn't know he didn't understand about that. And we'll talk about that in depth. But long story short, I learned that if I were able to find some good websites and videos and things like that to help him with his homework, his attitude changed, his grades went through the roof, and he graduated, through high school. He didn't go off to Harvard like I wanted him to, of course, but he went through high school, he got into community college, he's doing well now, he's 36, and that's the end of his story. But he's doing just fine. Okay, so we are producing a video of tonight. This video will be available for you folks. And once again, if you have questions, since it's such a small crowd, you can either put it through a chat or you can just unmute yourself and ask the question directly. By the way, I have 4 dogs, And so occasionally I'll be muting myself to yell at them to shut up, but they just saying hi for me. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the Life Prep Academy. The goal of the Life Prep Academy, once again, is to provide you with a roadmap, if you will, of all the things that you need to know from coming out of middle school and getting into high school, all the way through high school and into college and through college. So that's the goal. From 14 through 24 is really the focus of the whole program. So let's fast forward just to a few pages and we'll get started. Okay, so the first place we'll start here. Just to let you know that the guide itself is broken into 3 different sections. The first section talks about the life in high school. So getting your diploma, resources to help you get your diploma to be most successful getting through high school. Section 2 goes into life after high school. So all the different options that are available. Once again, with my son, you know, he said, I don't know what I want to do, you know, especially when he got out of high school. So Dad, I still don't know what I want to do. So I had to figure out, so what are the options for him? Should he, you know, he was not thinking, should I go directly from high school into college or high school into work, or what are the options? So we'll outline that. And then section 3, we'll talk specifically about, okay, so now you're out of high school, you may be on your own, how to live a healthy life and, you know, have effective personal skills at the same time. On page 2, it says here worksheets, and everything you'll see here that has lines and it's in blue, these are all hyperlinks. So when you get the digital version, you'll have the exact same one. But on this worksheets portion, this is where you can download throughout the presentation. You'll see different things that you can download so you can fill them in. And all of them have been put into one PDF right here, so you can download the entire thing right there at the front if you want to, or you can just wait and download them on the individual pages if you choose to do so. All right, so section 1, getting started here. Now this page, honestly, we do this orientation page, or this orientation webinar, this is just one of the webinars we do. We do a series of 6 of them actually, and this is one of 6. I actually do a whole webinar on this one page, and it's talking about studying habits and note-taking skills and learning styles. But learning styles is that one thing that I really wanted to talk to you about first. The learning styles. So when I was talking to my son, I said, so look, you know, which learning style are you? Are you, you know, and I didn't say it quite like that. He says, Dad, I'm not getting it. You know, this is harder than I expected. It used to be easier. And I said, well, look, let's figure out what's going on for you. How do you learn? He says, I don't know. I said, well, let's figure out how people learn. There's 3 different learning styles. There's the visual learners, and that's like your mom. And I told him, you know, your mom, you know, she likes novels. So she'll go out and buy a book. She wants to sit in the corner and read and have the lights perfect, cup of tea. I mean, she wants the whole thing quiet, and, you know, and she can do that. And I sit at my desk for hours a day. So if I'm not, you know, working, I'm asleep at my desk. So I said, no, that's not my style. So she's a visual learner. I'm more of an auditory learner. I like to put it on my iPhone. And, you know, as I'm walking my dog or I'm on the elliptical or riding my bike or something like that, I can listen to the exact same book as she's reading, but it's just a different type of learning style. And so we learn in those styles. That's the best way for us. I said, but the truth is most students right now, because of where we are in the world right now, are what they call kinesthetic learners. And that just means that they like being hands-on, experiential, you know, typing, they like videos and things like that. And he says, whoa, Dad, and he stopped me, he says, let me read. He said, man, that's me. And it was funny from that second, from literally from that second, everything changed. He said, Dad, that's me. Whoa, sloppy handwriting, you know, and we laughed about it. I said, you know, like your mom, she can listen to music. I don't know how many of you guys, she can listen to music while she studies. I can't. I need it absolutely quiet, you know, and it's just a different learning style. And he's like, yeah, me, I literally have on a headset, you know, and doing the homework at the same time. And instead of me saying, for some situations, I would say, man, what are you talking about? You have a headset on while you're, but yes, that's his learning style. So he had to understand that. And so with his case, what I did is that I found a lot of interesting videos and websites with graphics and things like that, and partnered them with all the things he was learning. That's on our Educate California website. It's 2,500. I actually reviewed 30,000 websites, reviewed them down to 2,500. It has English, math, social studies, science, and so forth. I'll show you that at the end. But they need to understand their learning style. If they're a kinesthetic learner, we have resources to help them with their homework. And that's a very important thing because they'll use that for the rest of their life, I promise. Also, they need to understand as far as note taking, how important that is. So as you'll see, what I did really is I found all these interesting websites. This website talks about different ways of taking notes, you know, preparing before the class, the mindsets that they need to have, you know, different note-taking systems. There's one called the structured one. There's one called the review models. So there's models that are out there that have been time tested by like Cornell. When you think about it, these are the brains. So they know that there's different ways of studying, and they know that each person has their own way of doing it. So take advantage of this. You know, they need to go through here and see, well, man, maybe, you know, I'm not taking notes in the right way. And if they change that, they can change everything for them. And once again, especially when they get into college, that's going to be expected of them even more, that they need to have organized notes because the information is going to be coming even quicker. Also with study habits, well, people say, well, what are good study habits? Well, here you go. You know, some of these you're already doing, you know, and some of you need to do, you know. Some you say, no, that's not me. I'm not ever going to do that. But you need to know what the study habits are. So let them go and sit down with your student, you know, say, you know, in that way, it not only, and they may say, Mom, I'll do this on my own, or Dad, I'll do this. No. I'm doing this for a reason because I want to be able to help you. That's what you need. I need to be an assist for you. See, I want you to get to the point, you need to be saying, I want you to get to the point where I'm doing this on my own, Mom, but I just need your help on these certain things. So we're partners in this whole thing, but you do it on your own. That's what I really want you to do, okay? But you need to go through this with your student because it helps you understand what they need to know and how they should be really structuring things. Now, parent engagement talks about parent engagement. There's techniques, but we don't have time to go through all of them. But like I said, there's some very, very interesting links. The best thing you could possibly do is to go through these links and click on them because they're there for a reason. Now let's talk about the A through G requirements. Everybody knows it's A through G, but sometimes people don't know A means history, B means English, and so forth. And so, you know, and the main point of this is that you need to have a plan. And in my case, with my son in the 10th grade in summer school, he took a class in summer that I didn't realize he didn't need to take. And it was because I hadn't kept track of it. And if I had kept track of it, we would have known, okay, so you took these classes in the first and second semester. No, what are you talking about, man? You know, you got a C in that class, man. And, you know, that was okay. You didn't need to, you know, but he wanted to improve his grade. No. You could have been taking a concurrent class or, you know, something else. But, you know, does it meet the requirements? And you need to know that, yes, it meets all those requirements. And we'll show you exactly what the requirements are, the number of classes. But keep a schedule so that you know that they're on track and you know that they know that you're on track, that because everybody, and you can download this particular one. So on page 7, it talks about one of my favorite subjects, concurrent or dual enrollment. It has the same exact meaning. So that means that you can take classes in college, community college, while you're in high school. And you say, whoa, why would I want to do that? It's the best thing you could possibly do for your student for several reasons. What you do with the reason why is it's a very inexpensive way, as it says there, to get a jump on college. The reality is that if you have a student that can take a concurrent class, and I recommend them starting in the 10th grade, not the 9th, 10th. And they can do that no matter what age they are. As a matter of fact, they don't have to be 18 years old. It doesn't matter. So they can take those classes in the 10th. And if they can take a class at the community college and compete in that class and get a good grade, then you know that they truly have a mastery of that subject. Oh, by the way, it's free, just to start off. So it's absolutely free. So if you take the classes, they know that they have a mastery. Also, all the colleges nowadays, the 4-year colleges, the UCs and the Cal States, they're impacted, meaning they have way more kids applying than they have space. So if they take these classes while they're in high school, it's the same English 101 that they would be taking if they got to college. So if the student is able to take these classes while they're in high school, they don't have to take them when they get to college, which means they don't have to compete for the English and math 101s. They can knock those things out while they're in high school. As a matter of fact, if they do it properly, they can actually structure it so that they can actually complete their high school diploma and their associate's degree at the exact same time. They just have to, the way it happens is that you have to work with the counselor, the parent, the counselor get together. They make sure that the student's on track, their grades are good. It's not going to be a major burden for them. They can take the classes. You have to talk to the admissions people at the community college, make sure everybody's on board, but they can do it. Lots and lots of students are doing that. They actually are structuring schools in many cases now to have that situation where students graduate with their high school diploma and their AA at the same time. And it saves you an enormous amount of money if your student is intending to go on to 4-year college, because they can knock out their AA. They only have 2 years left when you think about it, maybe 2, 3 at the max. Okay, on page 8, it goes a little bit more into depth about the A through G requirements. And the A through G requirements here, it shows you the number of years that you need to be taking it. The long story short is take as much math as you can, 4 years of math. Take as much English you can, 4 years of English. If you intend to use your foreign language after high school, and I highly encourage that because some of you know, have a dual language, more money. So if you're gonna do that, take it for 3 years, not just 2 years. If you're only gonna take it for 2 years, don't skip a year. So take it in the 11th and 12th, because all the students I've talked to when they got to college, they say, yeah, I played football in the 12th grade or whatever, and so I decided not to take Spanish because I wanted to, whatever, and they skip a year, and they may skip a year in the first year of college. You don't want to skip it. If you're going to use that language, don't have those gap years because you lose your skills. So highly important that they're going to use it, take those in consecutive years. Avid, if you have Avid at your high school, we're going to speed up a little bit here. If you have Avid at your high school, I encourage you to take it, because it's have your son or daughter take that class. It's a great college prep type of course. Those AP classes, that's how those students get to the 4.1s and 2s and 3s. And nowadays at the UC system, yes, they expect students to have the 4.1s and 2s and 3s. This little link here, I would just click on it, but actually in the interest of time, I won't talk to you about it, but it talks about how a young lady in 2014 took 17 community, 17 AP courses plus community college courses, graduated with her diploma and her AA, and her weighted, I mean, she had done so many classes, her weighted GPA was like 10 point something, which is like, you know, unbelievable, but it was very cool. Dana Petrell, you'll get it, you can read that if you like to, but it's possible for the students to do that. With the AP classes, a lot of time the schools don't have enough classes, so on that page there's a resource called Scout. UC Scout was created because a lot of the high schools don't have enough AP courses available. So the UC system themselves said, hey, let's create a website where students can take these courses for free in high school. So the cool thing is that not only can they take the AP courses, but they can also take A through G courses. So if they don't pass a course, they can retake that course right here on this website. They have to talk to their counselor, because that's the one who actually grades the course. But they talk to the counselor, tell them I want to take a Scout. They can do the A through G courses, or for each one of the courses, they can take an AP course in there. Now, on AP courses, if your student is good in math and science, don't be taking AP English and history, okay? You don't want, it's the old thing is always, is it better to get a C in a normal, a C in AP or an A in a normal class? The A is, the answer is an A in the normal class. If you get a C in the AP class, then you didn't tell the truth, because what you were saying by taking it was, hey, I'm good at this. Well, if you got a C, you ain't good at it. So you need to take the things you know you're good at, because it won't do you any better or do anything for your transcripts to have a C in an AP class. I'd rather you get an A in a normal class. Okay, NCAA. Any students that want to compete in college, in any kind of sport, they need to go here so that they know all the rules. Very quickly, there was a story about a young man who wanted to play football, and his older brother was a football star in Oregon, and he flew out there to Oregon to spend some time with him over the summer, and the coach wanted to take him out, you know, just for a hamburger, you know, and that buying of a hamburger can disqualify both of them for the scholarships. So they wouldn't, then like $3, $4 can disqualify you for thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of scholarships. So there's rules that they have to know, and if they don't know them, they can completely disqualify themselves. So if they're going to compete, make sure they're going to go to the NCAA Center. Okay, the SAT and ACT, things are changing. We're not sure exactly where that's going to stand, but on a normal world, a good SAT score is 1,600. The average is about 1,100 or so. If you're at the 12 or 13 in that area, you're going to the UC level schools. If you're at the 13, 14, you're going to a more exclusive. If you're at the 15, 16, you're at Harvard or Yale, okay? So the higher your SAT score coupled with your GPA, that's how you get into the most exclusive schools, all right? The SAT question of the day is a great resource. It's actually down right now because no one's taking it. It's from the College Board, made by the people who do the SAT, but it's a good thing. They send just one question every day and students can practice that way. The other best way is called the Khan Academy, K-H-A-N, Khan Academy. Hopefully you've heard of that, but that's the one, that's actually the best. It's videos and all kind of different stuff. The ACT, the best is at 36. Around 21 or so is the average. If you're at 23 or so, you're going to 23 or 24, you're going to the the UC, and once again, it climbs up that scale. But once again, coupled, and the one that you do the best on, because you take both, ACT and the SAT, you want to take both of them when they come back, because whichever you do best, that's the one that you submit. And yes, you couple that with your GPA, and that's how you qualify for the best schools. Okay, disabilities. Students that have special needs, very quickly on this. One thing I want you as parents to understand is that when your student becomes 18 years old and they get onto a college campus, you no longer have access to their records. What? What are you talking about? That means that you can't call the school and say, hey, my son, what's going on with it? No, you can't. That's not natural, and it can be done. The way it can be done is that your student actually has to go into the department, the special needs department with you, sign a letter, says that I want my student or my parents, literally, they do it that way. I want my parents to have access to my data. And that's the only way that you can have access to the data that happens when you're in college, because there are laws, FERPA laws that will not allow that. And on special needs, what happens is a lot of times students don't want to talk about things like ADD, dyslexia, something that's not a physical need, so the school doesn't know, So if you don't come in, but all of a sudden your grades are coming down, and that's when you come in and tell them, that's a problem. They have a whole department there where that's their whole job. They'll assign someone to take notes, go to class with you, be a study buddy. I mean, the whole deal, that's their job. They have millions of dollars in funding specifically for that. So if your son or daughter has any kind of, special need, the same thing with the College Board and the ACT, they have special accommodations. All three of the different colleges have special accommodations. So you have to take advantage of them, because they're not going to seek you out. You have to let them know, and don't wait too late. Okay, pages 15, 16, and 17, as a matter of fact. These are the checklists that are the things that you need to go through every year so that you make sure that you're on track, and you can just literally check them off and say, cool, I'm on track. One thing I'm going to touch on the senior year right here is when your child is in the senior year, one thing I told you about is campus is being impacted. Once again, meaning that there's way too many students for the classes. So then same thing for dorms. So if you want your student to stay in the dorm, which I highly encourage, it is highly encouraged. The data shows that students that stay in the dorms in the first couple of years of being on a college campus, especially a four-year campus, they do a lot better. They get more acclimated. They become parts of, study groups and, committees and all kind of different things like that. So that's highly encouraged, but you need to put your money down early. So make sure you do that the first thing in the year. Contact the school and make sure, hey, I want to be on the list. How do we get the funding in first? Because I want my kid on the dorm. So you need to take advantage of that. Once again, they're not going to call you. They'll let you know probably via letter, but it may get missed. But you want to be on top of that. You want them worrying about that way before they're worrying about the prom dress. All right. Okay. Of course, everybody asks me, so what's the best way to pay for college? Well, actually, I should say that. I say that differently. I ask everybody else, so what do you think is the best way to pay for college? And of course, people tell me scholarships and grants and loans, and yeah, that's all good. That's true. But Naomi told me that we family, so I'm gonna talk to y'all like family. What's the best way to pay for college? Not have to pay for college, okay? That's the best way to pay for college. And what I mean by that, and I'm gonna just tell you my personal story because we all family. At least she told me it was all family. So my story is that I was a 3.5 GPA, solid. Probably could have been a 4.0. Graduated early. I mean, I had all my classes done. My last year, I was done at noon. I went on to work and stuff like that. But nobody ever told me why I should have got a 4.0. I was getting better grades than my brother. My mom was happy. I was solid in Cal State Long Beach, which I finally went to. But nobody ever told me about that 4.0 thing and why it made a difference. Nobody ever told me why It was important not just to me, but to the school, and why they would give me money. No one ever told me why I could do something where it wouldn't come out of my mother's pocket in her retirement plan, quite frankly, if we're gonna be family, okay? So I tell students, this is what's going on. Colleges need money. Colleges go to all these big foundations. They say, we need money to operate the school, to build a new hospital on campus, and do all these different things. And so they go out and they ask for these enormous $300-400 million grants from these families and people and foundations. And the foundations say, well, hold up now. Why should I give you the money when Harvard asked me for the same thing? They want to build the same kind of thing on their campus. Why should I give it to UCLA or Stanford or Yale? And the answer has to be because I attract the best students to my campus. Meaning all those kids that applied themselves and got the 4.1s and 2s and 3s, all I got to do is really offer them a little bit of money and take the cream of the crop, bring them onto my campus, treat them like kings and queens, and they're the best brains, and I get $300-400 million, and all I got to give them is $150,000-160,000, maybe $200 at the max if I have to really treat them real well. So that's easy for them to do. And so the students need to understand it. It's literally like, you know, for young men, I tell them, hey man, be the draft pick. You know, you be the draft pick because your grades are so good because you applied yourself. You applied yourself to the point where your parents don't have to come out their pocket, and the school's going to treat you like a king or queen, and you can't even dribble a basketball, okay? Because you use this. And a lot of them know that they got it. They know that they have it up here. They just don't know a reason why they should apply themselves, but make it serious. Mom says, look, I don't have to come out of my pocket if you use your smarts. And I just tell them that flat out. So the answer to the question is the best way to pay for college is to not have to pay for college. And then of course, we talk about scholarships and grants and stuff like that. So let's go through that here. Here are the federal grants and loans. There's the Pell grants, but that's the last thing you want to be talking about, okay? Hopefully that's the last thing you're going to be talking about is the federal Pell grants. By the way, on this page, it talks about, I just did a webinar a couple of days ago, and it talks about the selective service. When males become 18, it's going to soon probably be males and females, but for the moment, when they become 18, they have to register for the selective service, and that way they can qualify for all kinds of money, okay? That's how they qualify for the FAFSA and getting money and so forth going down the road. So yeah, these are the federal grants and loan. Here are the Cal grants and loans. The Cal grants that are available. One I will talk about very quickly is the Chaffey Grant. That is a grant specifically for youth that are in foster care, up to $5,000 a year. I've known several young people that have gone through their entire community college experience using the Chaffey Grant and not have to pay a nickel out of their pocket, okay? So, I mean, it covers books, tuitions, housing, food, no matter what, okay? It's up to $5 grand per year. So make sure if you know any students that are in foster care that they take advantage of that. But March 2nd, everybody needs to know that date. That's the Fafsa date. FAFSA stands for Free Application for Student Aid. That's how you get the money. And if you don't apply by March 2nd, you can't get both federal and state money. There's two different pots of cash there. And so you got to apply by March 2nd. And it's every year, the exact same day. It doesn't matter. March 2nd, March 2nd, March 2nd. And you're saying, well, how do I do that? Well, this Cash for College thing, all these things are links. Everything's graphic or links. This Cash for College is a series of workshops all over the state where you can go and they will literally fill out the FAFSA for you, help you fill it out right there, bring you W-2s, and they will sit down with you. They're all over the state in different places, even at the convention center in some cases. So you go there, they will help you fill out all the paperwork, but it's the best way for you to understand it. I recommend to families that you go in the 11th grade, if you can, just go just to see, just go and see what the situation's like and what they're doing there. Then you come back in the 12th grade and you're going to be like power user ready to roll. But definitely Cash for College, it's a great thing because it just helps you fill that whole thing out and you don't have to worry about doing anything wrong. Okay, scholarship scams. If someone says to you, hey, we have scholarships available, but you need to pay money to sign up for it. No, absolutely not. Scholarships are free, always. Scholarships are free. And one thing you need to understand about scholarships is that there's a method to writing it. This one, click here about the 5-paragraph essay. The scholarships are meant to be in a narrative form. You need to know what that narrative form is, and this one was a tutorial on how to write that 5-paragraph essay. In some cases, like for the UC, the personal insight questions, it's 350 words. So you got to be quick on it, you know. So you need to know how to write it very quickly, write that real quick essay, and you need to know the structure of how to do that. So go to the 5-paragraph essay, and that'll teach you how to do it. On our website, the lifeprepacademy.org, lifeprepacademy.org, that's the name of the book. And we actually have a whole listing right here of scholarships. As you can see, it says engines and all kind of different scholarships for everybody. There are all different kind of scholarships available. Under scholarship engines, this is where we have things like the middle class scholarship. If your income is up to $177,000 in the family, there are certain scholarships you qualify for going for the Cal State and the UC. For these three here, FastWeb, CapEx, Big Future, if you sign up for 1 or 2 or 3 of these, they'll send you more scholarship offers than you could ever apply for. Okay, I mean, literally, you have to turn it off. Okay, so you sign it, you go in there, you create a profile and tell them what you want to do and where you want to go. And man, I mean, literally, it becomes too much. I had to turn one off, but they send it to you all the time. Military.com and U.S. Veterans Magazine. Those are for the military families. If you have a military, and especially a disabled veteran in the family, that's the U.S. Veterans Magazine. So excellent scholarships. College can be almost paid for completely. Okay.
Mr. Moore, we have 2 questions in the chat box real quick.
Yes, absolutely. Hold on just one second. Let me let Apollo know to be quiet. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
So I know there's a question about when FAFSA opens for the year. Is that March?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry I forgot to say that. The cool thing is those the FAFSA itself, and it starts in October, November timeframe. Okay. So they want to give you a lot of time to get this done. So it starts with those Cash for College workshops. They actually started, I believe, in October, latest early November. And they go all the way through March. I mean, literally up until a week before the day, type of thing. So you need to, to go to those and to start doing your research and get started with it, even if you don't even finish the process, but start creating all your memberships and all your, and the weird thing about it is that if the parent has gone to college and has a FAFSA account, you're going to have a different account than your student. I mean, there's different regulations and rules, so you want to start as early as possible so you don't look up and say, oh man, I'm late, and you're rushing and that type of thing. So get started as early as possible. That was an excellent question. Thank you for that.
Great. And one more question too, is there information for HBCUs?
I'm
not sure what that is.
In our guide, yes, the historically Black colleges, yes. We do have access to them. They're a little further down in the book, but yes, we have, and those are wonderful options too. I have to tell you, the HBCUs are doing some wonderful work right now, but yes, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. Okay, any other questions? Okay, let's go on back. So that was the scholarships. There's ways of talking to your students about managing their money, being savvy about credit cards, and I'll just touch on that real quickly. I was a financial planner for many years. People say, so credit cards are bad, right? No, credit cards are not bad. Having too many credit cards and not being able to pay the balances is bad. And not using them properly is bad. Having a credit card is very important, especially if your student is going to go off to college. There was a young lady a few years back that was headed off to Berkeley from LA. Car broke down midway there. Had she not had a credit card, she wouldn't have been able to rent a room, and get her car fixed. So it's important that they have one. What I do recommend is if you have a relationship with your bank or someone where you have a relationship with your credit card, is that you introduce your student to that exact same person. Hey, this is my son or daughter. I want you to meet them. We're going to get them a credit card with maybe $500. Not $5,000. We want something if they go crazy that you can take care of. Okay. So a nice balance, maybe one card, maybe 2 at the max that they have, but not 4, 5, or 6 of them, and teach them about that. One thing I always talk to students about, and you can say this to them, is that, okay, I'm going to loan you $100. But if you don't pay me that money back within 1 year, you're going to owe me 126. Are you okay with that? Okay. And of course, the student, no, I only bought it. No. Let's understand how credit cards work. there's interest on that money. So if you don't pay that money back in a year, then you're gonna hold 120, and you could pay off a little bit at a time if you want to, but they're still gonna get that money back from you at 126. You can pay it, matter of fact, they'll let you pay it forever. However, if you take that credit card balance in which you just bought that $150 and you pay that $150 off within 30 days, they're not gonna charge you any interest at all. And students go, oh, cool. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, all right. So that gets it to them. Use it, pay it off. Use it, pay it off. And don't let it go for years and years. And trust me, I raised my hand. I said, how many of us did this? And of course, the parents don't want to raise their hand. I say, come on now. I know I ain't the only one out there. But yes, we all did that. But we want to make sure our students understand how to use them properly so they don't get themselves in trouble. And especially if you're co-signing for those credit cards. We had talked about in-state tuition for AB 540, living away. Once again, when the student turns 18, the money goes to the school or directly to the student. It doesn't come to you. You're not going to see it. You can't ask for it, ask about it. They need to know how to spend that money properly, and they need to know how to budget. Frankly, when I was a financial planner, I had 50, 60-year-olds that still didn't get this whole thing. But, you know, maybe if you do get it, show them your budget and scare them. But yes, they need to understand that that money has to last a period of time, because every year I get calls, you know, hey, Mr. Moore, can you help us find some scholarship at the last minute because, you know, my son or daughter spent, you know, some of their grant money, and, you know, that's not cool. They need to understand how to budget and to plan for that whole time when they're going to be there. And once again, this is going to be a skill that they'll need for the rest of their lives, of course. Okay, so some of the things that they need to consider when choosing a school, their major and their academics. So a lot of times students say, I want to go to this school because I heard it's a cool school. Well, no, there's certain schools for certain things. You know, if you want to be a marine biologist, you don't want to go to Cal State Long Beach. You want to go to CSU, you know, Stanislaus, or to Monterey Bay, because that's where they have programs for marine biology and that type of. So you want to pick the right school to do what you want to do, and you understand. You need to understand how to choose the right major to fit what your needs are. And there's a whole link down here about how to do that and choosing the area that you want to pursue and that type of thing. Let's see here. People ask me, so how do you choose the best college? In a normal, well, actually, still in today's world, the answer is visit as many colleges as you can. Okay, go on college visits. That's the best possible thing. Go, and this is even better. This is the way I should say it to you. Call the college, say that, hey, my son or daughter wants to come and visit your college. Can you match them up with someone that looks like them, has a similar story? Tell them their story. He's, you know, African-American male, you know, he wants to play a sport. He's thinking about coming to your school, but, you know, he wants to study biology. You know, can you find someone like that? And they say, yeah, well, we'll see if we can find someone like that. And you give them a little bit of money for them to spend the day, and you take them up to the college, and you let them off at the college, and you drive away. Let them spend the day with the student by themselves, because they will be more open and they will talk to the student more frankly and openly than they would if you were walking with them, because they just don't want to talk in front of you. You know what I'm talking about. So, and the nice thing is here, right here, this is the best thing, this questions one. When they get there, they don't want to just walk around and say, so, no, how's the day? No, they need to ask very specific questions. You know, how much time do students spend on homework? You know, where are there any spots that, you know, students say aren't safe? You know, what's the average class size? You know, they need, and so here's a whole list of 30-something questions that they can ask, and print this out. You know, tell them, hey, no, take this with you and ask these questions. Matter of fact, you need to tell them, matter of fact, by the time you get home, these are the ones I wanted to ask you about. I'm gonna ask you, so what is the average package about? And what's the breakdown? And, you know, what's the graduation rate? You need to ask these kind of questions while you're there. And because I'm not going to be there with you, so I want to make sure that we're both on the same page of the kind of questions that we want to ask, okay? So these are great questions. You can walk through this with your student, print it out for them, have them take it with them, and spend a good day without you on the campus. And there's also a visual tour, virtual tours available if they can't actually go to the campus in many cases. But it's best to be able to go to the campus. Let's see, we'll keep on going here. Okay, let's get to the 3 different types of campuses, the college, public campus, I should say, in California. So there's the UC, the Cal State, the community colleges. The UC has 10 beautiful campuses, about $30,000 a year. Cal State, 23 beautiful campuses, and they really are. I've been to just about every one of them. About 17 and a half. And then there's the community colleges. $46 a unit. So let's stop there. Whoa, $46 a unit. Now, if your student is not 100% certain what they want to do, some people say, you know what, even if you're not, go ahead and go to the Cal State anyway. I don't know about that. I have this is my feeling about this. I would, but first off, hopefully they've taken a lot of these courses in high school, and so they knocked out some of the community college classes. All they got to do is finish their AA so they can transfer. The colleges now are encouraging students in many cases, if you don't know what you want to do, it makes a whole lot more sense at $2,500 for your entire 2-year community college experience at $2,500 for you to go through community college and then transfer, especially if you didn't do well in high school, because it's a clean slate. It's not 13th grade. So you can start with a completely clean slate and just be a rock star in community college and go straight to the UC or Harvard, okay? But it's a completely clean slate. And now they have the California Promise that depending on your income and a few different things, you can go there and learn about it. The community college can be absolutely free, at least definitely 1 year, and they're trying to make it 2, okay? So the community college is a wonderful thing for students to do. I never want to discount that, or for students to feel like, oh my goodness, that's an excellent way for students for people to get their education. And once again, it's a clean slate for a student that didn't really apply themselves in high school, but are serious now and they want to really go ahead and move forward. Okay, so here are the community colleges, and they're all over the state. Once again, 114 of them in a virtual and also. Some of the community colleges now have a new program called the Bachelor's Degree Program. This is pretty cool. So what they decided was, once again, knowing that the other colleges, all the 4-year colleges are impacted, they said, well, why don't we create a situation where a student at the community college can actually get their BA at the community college. So they chose 15 different colleges, these are the one, and they said, each one of you can offer just one thing. You can offer a whole different suite of things, but West LA, you can offer dental hygiene. So a student that was already thinking about going into dental hygiene, they can choose Foothill or, in this case, West LA, and go to each one of these, or either one of those. And it's not like it's going to save an enormous amount of money, because it's a bachelor's degree program, but they have the convenience of not having to transfer out and go to the 4-year college. And it's the same BA as a BA as a BA as a BA, okay? So they can save a little bit of money, and they have the convenience of not having to transfer out, and they can complete these 15 different types of things at these 15 universities. So it's kind of convenient, and we're trying to see whether or not they're going to expand that to more different locations, but it's been about 3 or 4 years so far, and we're waiting to see. Okay, if a student is going to be transferring from community college into 4-year college, it is absolutely essential that they know these 2 websites. One is this one here, the AAT, and this one has videos. It's great videos, and where you can create a plan for transferring and making that move. So that's a good one, but the most important one here is called Assist. Assist is where you literally go into this website and say, and actually we're not quite at the 2021, say that I want to go from, let's see, I want to go from West LA College to Cal State Long Beach. And it'll actually show you all the different things that you can major in at West LA that automatically transfer over. So say, okay, I'm gonna major in biology. And you click on biology, and when you click on download the agreement and so forth, it shows you every class that you need to take in order to qualify to make sure that you're taking the right classes at the college that you currently are at, and be able to qualify to have those transferred directly to the college that you want to go to. And once you create the membership in here, you literally can send that information directly over to them, okay? But the main thing is that if you know that's what you plan to do, you need to tell your counselor at the community college right from the beginning, this is my path. So they will also help you make sure that you're on track to keep you want to make sure the classes you're taking will fit what you're taking, and down the road when you finally get to the 4-year university. So Assist is critical for students that are going to be transferring. Okay, the Cal State system. Here's a picture of where they are. They're all up and down the coast. Beautiful campuses, I have to say. So, take advantage of all of them. Once again, here's how to reach the Cal State system. Cal State Apply. This is the actual website to go to the Cal State. They now have a program called Early Start. It used to be when the students go to the Cal State, if they did not quite have the math or English skills to go into the 101, they used to put them in 001, which was a remedial type of course. Well, they said that that's unlawful. There was a bill passed, AB 1111, I believe it was, and it said that, no, we don't want that anymore because we don't want to have students having 6, 7, 8 year, CSU lives. So what we're going to do is we need them to start at a certain level. So if your student is not at that level when they go into college, they have to take what is called the Early Start program. And they'll put them through this program to make sure that they raise their math and English skills up to the level for them to be able to take that 101 level course. But the best thing to possibly do is this one called EAP, Early Assessment Program in the middle. That is in the 11th grade. Your students take that course, and that way that they know that their skills are on track for them to go to the Cal State. Now, let me say this, and I say it as delicately and as bluntly as I possibly can. A 4.0 student at Crenshaw High School compared to a 4.0 student at Harvard Westlake ain't the same 4.0 student. Y'all understand me? Put your hand up. How many of y'all understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Harvard Westlake has a program that is college prep. Every one of those students are going to 4-year. Okay. That's where it happens. And I'm just not talking about Crenshaw. I mean, I'm talking lots of schools. I found a lot of times is that the school that you go to, if their program is not as rigorous as it should be, and you may have a student that thinks that they're an A-level student, but when they take that EAP assessment, they find like they may not be an A-level student. So you want to take it in the 11th grade so that they know where they stand. And that way they can beef up their skills so they can get to where they want to be. Because the worst thing that can happen is for them to hit college and say, whoa, wait a minute, man, I was, this wasn't nearly as hard, when in high school, because they didn't know that their skills weren't necessarily there. So take that class, there's EAP program, and that way you know that your students' the skills are on track. How do you know that you're eligible for the Cal State system? Well, the Cal State system, any school, Cal State is in your local neighborhood. If you have a 3.0 or better, then you automatically qualify. You have what they call the 2950. That's the calculating index down here. Now, this index is the main thing you need to be worried about, because the index tells you whether or not you not only can go to the Cal State in your neighborhood, but can you go to the Cal State that's more exclusive? Because we say, all the time, Cal State's, somebody may say, yeah, I live by Cal State LA, but I really want to go to San Diego. Well, man, there's students coming from all over the country to go to San Diego, and Long Beach too, and San Francisco too. And like I said, they're all impacted. So the way that you are able to get to those schools is, once again, having a higher GPA and a higher SAT score. So there's the calculation down here. You can fill in the calculation, whatever 3.0 times 800 or 4.0 times 800, whatever that calculation is. That's how you tell whether or not you're going to be able to go to a more exclusive CSU school, as opposed to the one that, just because I have a 3.0, I do qualify for my local school. Okay. All right. The UC system, 10 campuses all up and down the coast. There you go. Beautiful campuses once again. It used to be called personal insight questions, but now it's called it used to be called personal statements. Now they're personal insight questions. The difference is that now there are 8 questions. You get to choose 4 of those questions and write a 350-word max essay on those 4 questions. That's how it works now. So you go to this link here, it'll show you the 8 questions. You get to choose 4 of them and respond to those 8 questions and send them in. And the thing is, what they're doing is they're looking for you to tell them, why am I special? Why should I stand out? And let me ask you, well, I'm not ask you, I'll tell you, because we're short on time. I always ask, the people in the admissions, so you have 2 4.2 students, both of them female, both of them came from, the LA area, they're pretty much the same kid. How do you choose one or the other? And every time the answer is their extracurricular activities. Okay, what do they do in addition to being this brainiac, beautiful, wonderful brainiac student? Because what we found, and what they found, is that the brainiacs that don't have a well-rounded life, they go from class to dorm or class to home or whatever, and that's all they do. but they're looking for that student that, you know, was in the band. They, you know, was a cheerleader. They worked on the yearbook. They were student government. They volunteer at their church. They go to the food bank every year and give away food. You know, they know that they have that 50-hour max, that 50-hour requirement thing where they got to do community service. But if your student comes in with 150 hours, they come up in the levels, okay? Because that doesn't say not just I completed what was required, but that says this is who I am. And they want students that are going to be involved with the campus. They want them to get involved and to be part of the campus and the student government and all that good stuff. So the answer is the best way for a student to stand out is the extracurricular activities, and especially if they're volunteering and doing things in the community. If they play an instrument, I mean, anything. You know, the one young lady who won a few years ago, she told a story about she was a Latina, and she told a story about a day she spent in the kitchen with her mother and her grandmother, and she learned all these stories that influenced her while they're cooking in the kitchen. And her story was, you know, I want to study Hispanic studies, and what I intend to do going down the road is this. And this one day, if you can feel me, okay? So it's you know, how are you going to benefit the campus? How are you going to stand out? Why should we choose you over someone else? That's what we're talking about in those questions. Okay, independent colleges like the UCs and the USCs and the Loyolas, great colleges. And another thing, you got to make sure that the student picks the right school. There was a young lady who wanted to go to UCLA because all her friends are going to UCLA, you know, and her family going to UCLA. And so she went to UCLA and she got there and she was miserable. You know, she's a very shy person, you know, a very religious person and so forth. And someone said, hey, you know, maybe you should have gone to like LMU, you know, Loyola Marymount. Is very small school, you know, maybe 20 kids per class instead of 250 in a theater, you know, and, you know, also a religious school. And she checked it out and she transferred, and then boom, valedictorian, you know. So you have to choose the right school for you. It could be a small school, it could be a big school, it could be an in-state school, it could be out-of-state school. But there's a lot of independent colleges here in California that are available. Mostly, typically, they have a little bit of extra cost sometimes, but a lot of them have the smaller class size. Another very cool thing is called this Western Undergraduate Exchange. Has anyone heard of WUI? You can raise your hand. Anybody heard of WUI? Okay, good, one person. Well, WUI. So what happened was many years ago, no, I should say many, about 2014, I think it was. 2014, the decision was, look, we got kids coming from all over the country that are trying to get in these Cal State schools. You know, we should offer some incentive for the students in California that want to go up elsewhere to go outside of California without having to pay that out-of-state tuition, because that's why people didn't want to go out of California. So what they did is they chose the 15 Western states. And they said, all of these Western states here, including Hawaii, all these Western states are in a group. And if you want to go to these Western states, you can literally go and get like a university level education for the cost of a Cal State. Okay, so what we're doing is, instead of it being two times the cost as two times the in-state tuition, it'll be 1.5 times the in-state tuition. So you can go to University of Nevada, Reno, or Colorado, or Wyoming, you know, and get a university level education. And once again, it's pretty close. I mean, it's a hop, you know, either a drive or a quick flight, but you can get a better, well, not better in this case, you can get at least a university level education for the cost of a Cal State. And they'll fly you out. You can just click on the different states you want to go to, as you can see, and it'll show you the different colleges there. You can, you know, choose one of them, reach out to them. Some cases they'll fly you and your student out, you know, and because they want you out there, they need the students, you know. So it's a great opportunity if a student wants to leave out of California and be still close at the same time. Studying abroad, there's another option for students. You know, if they want to take advantage of that, there's a whole website called studyabroad.com, as a matter of fact, where they can go out and learn about different opportunities. There's also distance learning and different options there. But as far as the different options after high school, I wanted to once again make sure that my son had some options. And so we're looking at, okay, well, if you don't, because he was talking about, I might just want to go straight to work. So I will, okay, let's take a look at what kind of apprenticeships are available. It comes to find out there's a whole website that talks about that and the different types of apprenticeships that are out there. And if you click on any of these, it'll take you to a page that says, okay, well, if you want to be a electrician, and what, by the way, some of these students, what they do is that what they're going to be doing is that they're going to be studying under a master electrician or plumber or something like that. And I'm not just talking about plumbing at somebody's house. I'm talking about plumbing in a building where you got things, running over a building. I knew someone who did that, and an AC person that did buildings. And he used to tell them, I'm not talking about just, crawling up in somebody's house, man. I'm talking about designing things and so forth. So you start off working with me for $18 a month, $18 an hour. And then you keep progressing for, working under the master technician. The next year or two, you could be making $25 a year. By 5 or 6 years, he said, 5, 6, 7 years into it, you have progressed to the point where you're like making $30, $35 an hour. And you're, have a job that in some cases is more than if you got a 4-year degree and spent $150,000, at $35 an hour, but you're designing AC systems or plumbing systems or electrical systems or whatever the case may be. But a lot of these things are high-paying jobs, especially right now, because we told kids for years, hey, those jobs are working with their hands are going away. Wrong. Wrong. Just absolutely wrong. So there's some great options for students that want to go directly from school to work. They can look at these different apprenticeships, and they click on any one of them. They'll tell them what an average day is, what college they need to go to, how many courses they need, and all kind of different things to make sure that they're on track to go to the apprenticeship that they want to. Private career and technical schools. This is also wonderful. One of my favorite sites. So it talks about the vocational schools. What are the difference between vocational trade and technical schools? And, they kind of seem interchangeable, but no, they have actual different things. So you can go there and learn what that is. The vocational schools themselves, the art and design ones, the computer information. By the way, computer design and information, software engineering, actually something I'm studying right now. I'm going to decide to go back and studying because I want to be doing it. But the income for a software engineer, someone who gets to the point about 5 or 10 years in the business of software engineer with a nice portfolio, is right around $125,000, $130,000 a year. Okay. What if your student goes directly from high school or directly from college into that, and by 30 years old, 35 years old, they've been in the business for 5, 10 years? I mean, think about that. And what company does not need a website now? What company does not design an app right now? Think about that. So, hey, like I said, that's what I decided to do. I said, I want to go back and, because I'm going to always do what I do, but I want to have some more skills because on a side business, I do consulting and I build websites. So I said, hey, let me learn a little bit more. I'm actually taking a course right now where I learn how to do that. So there's some great courses on there, whether it's you or your student. You never know. You might do it for yourself. Okay. How much time we got? Okay, about 20 minutes. Okay, so we'll speed up. The U.S. military. If your students think about the military, they'll give you a nice suit, send you all over the world, give you some discipline. And also at the same time, as many of you know, when you go to buy your home, they'll give you a nice discount on your loan and so forth because you've been in the military. And if you have a military person yourself, your spouse is a military, been in the military or is a disabled veteran, your student, once again, has scholarships available to them where they can save a huge amount on their education, probably almost for free. AmeriCorps, a lot of students talk about, they want to spend that gap year and take some time out. Well, if you're going to do it, do something good with it. AmeriCorps, you can go out and learn a skill and contribute to the world. You get 3 different. They send you out on these 3 different projects that you get to do, and once you finish with it after a year, they give you $6,200. And they say this is just money for you to get started on your education and go to college or whatever you need to do, pay back student loans, whatever the case may be. But if you give them a year, they'll give you $6,200. So a great program for students that are maybe thinking about taking a gap year, or a student that are, just want to do that. And I actually met a young person just a month, actually, no, less than a month ago, that had gone to Brazil and just, done some amazing things in her young life. And now she said, now I'm ready to go to college because I really know what I want to do. Okay. So a very cool option for the students to take. Career planning. One thing that I definitely encourage them to do is that there are assessments and career planning tools, your interest profilers. And I put 3 or 4 of them different on here because they can give you different, results and so forth. One thing I tell a student is if it tells you, based on what you come back, you are going to be and should be this. Well, no, that's not how it works. the job of these things are really to show you, you're an artistic person, you are a leader, you are this or that, and it'll give you these things, but you then tailor that to what you want to do. And it doesn't give you just one, it gives you a list of them, but don't let it tell you this is what you're confined to, okay? It just gives you some strategies of what you know your strengths are. And so that's the best way to use those profilers. Don't have it having you think that these are the only things I'll be good at, because that's not how it works. And then you think about, so what should I be doing? And this is the whole website on exploring careers. That's what this is about. One of my favorites is this Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And I like this one because it talks about, instead of saying, so what do you want to do? It says, what do you like? So, you may say, I like computers. And it'll tell you, okay, well, based on that, here's 5 or 6 different options. And okay, let's take a look at what a software developer. Oh, well, wait a second. Take a look at that. Does that say that a software developer with just a bachelor's degree can earn $106,000 almost? Yes, it does. And what is the work environment like? What do you have to do? And this is the time. So, and then a student can say, well, man, that's very cool. Man, that's money that people sometimes get a PhD to earn. Well, that's cool, but that's not really what I want to. Let me go take a look at healthcare. I was really thinking about the healthcare and the tech. So they can go through this whole thing and choose and go back and forth and look at all different types of careers. And it starts with what you like. And that's the most important thing for the student. They don't want to just choose a career, or actually just choose a job because it's a job. You want to have them choose a career that'll be something that they'll love to do. And this website will give them a lot of information on how to choose that properly. Another one that's my favorite is this Road Trip Nation. Road Trip Nation has videos that are student-led by students that are now in college, that have gone on to careers, and it talks about what did it take for me to get to where I want to be. This young lady here, she says, they told me I couldn't be a mechanic, and now she's an auto shop owner, and so she tells her whole story about, what she had to go through, what kind of classes she took, what the things, and I love it because all these is all video-based. Once again, that's how our students learn nowadays, but there's a whole list of the different documentaries, as they call them, and you can go through these documentaries and see them, and, Fear is Healthy from a guy, it's good for having to learn through video, and it has lots and lots of great videos on there. So those two, and once again, I encourage you to look at as many of these links as you can, because there's some great links. But we'll keep going here. Well, how much do we have? Okay, about 15 minutes. Okay, you're getting your first job, networking for success, and we talked to students how important that is, and building a network, marketing your way to success, and being able to be confident in speaking about yourself, especially in that personal insight statement that I was talking about, how to write a resume, what a resume looks like, or just a basic one, cover letters, of course, that always impresses folks, preparing for the interview. This is very important. A lot of times I want students to understand there are 2 things that are very important. When you are preparing for the interview for a job, is the exact same thing in some cases as preparing for the interview for college, okay? For a college and sending in your application. What I mean by that is that they're going to do 2 things. Number one, there's quickly the first, it used to be the last thing they did. Now it's going to be the first thing they did, is look at your social media pages, okay? They're going to go through your social media pages to see what you are, so what's on them and what kind of things. It just tells them about, I have students say, that's not fair. It's my personal page. Why should they care? Well, this is why. If you work for AT&T or, Educate California for that matter, if people know you that, oh yeah, that's the CEO or one of the people at Educate California or at AT&T or something like that, and you have some of these controversial things on your page, well, then they associate that with the company. And the company doesn't want you to have that kind of interview. So yeah, you need to lock it down, but in better cases, you need to kind of get rid of it, especially when you're applying for a job and applying, because things may sneak through. I know lots of people, and I know different stories of, people that tell me, Eric, I wanted to hire this person, but man, I looked at their Facebook page and like, oh no, I just can't do it. I can't do it. Second thing is that they're going to look at the email that you send. And the email, people a lot of times have, a nickname or a funny email, and it's something that they share with their family, and that's cool, their family, their friends, and so forth. That is not what you want to do on a job interview or going to college. You need to have it separate. You have a funny or family email that's your personal email that you can have whatever you want. One of my friends was a chef. His was called Chef Daddy, okay? And that's cool, but nobody knew who Chef Daddy was because that was us. We called him Chef Daddy, you know? So his, you know, real name, you know, you need to put your first name dot last name, you know, at Gmail or Yahoo or whatever you want. Okay, but you need to have a serious email, and strangely enough, you know, for jobs and for the colleges, they're going to grade you on that. Okay, so let them know your social media and those, you know, your email and so forth. I want you to, you know, make sure that they know that. Have a professional email and have a fun email for their friends and so forth, but always through the rest of their life, you know, that's something they're going to need to know. Okay, closing down. Okay, so the world of work, we're almost getting to the end now. The world of work. You all are from LA. How many raise your hand from LA? Okay, well, I can't see you quite, but I think y'all somewhere in my area. I got a lot more gray hair than y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all a little story about the world of work. So when I was 16 years old, there was a store back in the day called Zodi's. Who remembers Zodi's? Oh Lord, okay, I won't tell you. We just aged ourselves or dated ourselves. But Zodi's was a store back then. If you didn't know, it was a department store, kind of turned like to be a Target. And I was my first job at 16. I was working at Zodi's, and it was the Christmas detail. And so the Christmas detail, I didn't really know at that time meant. So they hire you in November, and December 26th is your last day. Okay, and so December 26th came around. And I decided that I knew, they told me, okay, you know, by that time I knew, and I decided I'm gonna go up there and convince them, hey, look, man, I did a good job. Y'all need to keep me. So not fire me with all the rest of these. Now, I know they did an okay job, but I did a great job. So I got dressed up, and my mom says, well, where you going? I said, I'm going to the thing, you know, this is our last day, but I'm gonna convince them to keep me. And she said, no, baby, that's not how it works, but you know, you can give it a shot. So I said, okay. So I went on up there and went to my boss and tried to convince him. Of course, he said no. But he said, you know, Eric, you were one of our better workers, so we want you to come back, man. We love you to work for us. When we have some openings, I'll call you, and you'll be one of our first people to call. I said, okay, cool. So I'm leaving the store. I'm happy. And he says, oh, by the way, I'll send you your check in the mail. You'll get it in a week or so. And once again, we look forward to having you back. I said, cool. So I leave, get in the car, get back to the house, walk in the house, and my face is drooping, of course. And my mom said, they said no. I said, yeah. She said, well, don't worry about it. You know, as long as you got your little money, you know, have a good weekend and take your little check and have a good time, and you know, you can start working on, you know, looking for a new job on Monday. And I said, no, they told me they're going to put my check in the mail, so I'll get it in a couple weeks and so forth. And she said, no, that's not how it works. I said, what are you talking about? She said, no, that's not how it works, baby. You need to go back up there because she worked in the accounting department. She was, you know, she said, no. You're supposed to get a check with that type of job and those seasonal jobs. The day that you leave, knowing that there's a finite date, they give you a check on that day. So go get your check. And I said, Mom, they told me, she said, go get your check. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I got in my car. And so now I'm mad at Mom. I'm driving to the store. Mom, dang, you're going to ruin my chance to get my job back, you know? And I get up to the store and I walk into my manager and I said, Mr. Motor, I remember his name, Mr. Motor. My mom told me that I'm supposed to get a check. And he says, yeah, hold on a second. And he goes in his office, comes back out 2 seconds later with my check in his hand. Okay, gives me my check. Eric is instantly mad. Okay, like, whoa, wait a second. Well, Eric didn't know his rights. Okay, and that's the whole point of this page and the next couple pages. That students turn 14, 15, 16 to get their first job. I mean, I'll tell you that at 17 years old, I was driving a forklift in a chemical plant. I had my license for less than a year. All right. I wasn't supposed to be doing that, man. But I didn't know. I was literally moving around nitroglycerin, if you can believe that. Okay. So, you know, students do not know what they do not know in most cases, but they need to know. And there's a whole website here, the one-stop centers, the career online, that gives you all your rights. Because at this point, like on the next page, it's talking about you get your work permit. You know, you need to know what that means because you now qualify for different things. So it's very important when students are starting that world of work that they know. Because man, I came home one day after I was driving this work permit, I'm driving this the forklift, and my hands were peeling because I had touched one of the barrels and nitroglycerin raw had gotten on my hands, and my mom looked at my hands and my hands were peeling. And so if you can imagine, that was my last day. But yes, the students need to know what they need to know. Okay, healthy living and personal skills. So what we want to make sure the students understand is that there's a direct correlation about diet, exercise, and sleep when they get into college, especially if they leave the safety of you, mom and dad, and they're now at the college by themselves, and they're eating burgers and fries and pizza 7 days a week, okay? And they're not getting them good greens and everything that you normally put in them to get all the vegetables and so forth. So now they're in class, they're falling asleep, they can't concentrate, they're not trying, they're not succeeding, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So we need to make sure that they understand, especially if they're going to be out on their own, what that role of diet, exercise, and sleep is. And so I literally put on the next 2 pages, tips for girls and tips for guys on just basically how to feed yourself, to make sure the basics, and most of them know, but they just need to know that, look, you got to put some vegetables in that diet, man. Don't be just having beer and pizza, and we won't talk about that, but don't just have that all the time. You got to put some vegetables, at least come home on the weekend so mom can stuff you full of some good stuff. Okay, and the last little part that I talked to the students about is safety. It just so happens, unfortunately, I've had a couple of people in my family that died in car accidents. So that's a touchy subject to me. So I talked to the students about it, and I asked some students at one point in time, hey, what do you do if you're in the car with someone, with your friends, and they're testing and driving? And none of them could answer the question, so I actually put a whole page in here. I was like, no, you need to know, what do you say? It could be your friend, it could be your older brother or sister, someone you don't normally talk back to. It could be mom. My wife, right now, I tell you, I'm kind of notorious for looking at Google Maps, and she'll just like take the phone out of my hand, no, we're gonna get there safely here. Where are we trying to get to? She'll put the address in it, but they need to know how important it is, the texting and driving thing, because that's a whole thing that we didn't have to deal with much years ago, but now we do have to deal with. And if they are in the car with someone, here's some approaches that they can use just to get out of that situation if they're not comfortable with it. Same thing on just some basic things about being a super driver. Internet safety. I tell students, and there's a lot of different things that they need to know, but one thing is that smart surfing type of thing. You don't want to put your full name, your address, your social security number, your mama's name. You don't want to put all that stuff into a website, your credit card. You got to be very discreet about surfing the internet. And here's a website that I found actually probably just not too long ago, less than a year ago. Rules for parents to help them protect their students online. Okay, so let me just show you some things here, and I'm gonna shock you with a couple of them. But 95% of students that have cell phones are online. That's number one. And 34% of students have been cyberbullied. Okay, that kind of stood out to me. And see, we actually have a whole website on cyberbullying too. But the main thing is, even if your student is not being cyberbullied, you want to be able to recognize the symptoms if they are, and you want them to be able to recognize the symptom if their friend is, okay? So you want them to be able to intervene and to help their friends, and at least be able to point them to some help. And we'll, at the end of the presentation, I'll show you the helpline that they can go to. The amount of predators that are on the line, I mean, 500,000 or more predators on the line on any given day. Identity theft, once again, you don't want to be putting all your identity in them. You don't also want to be going on Facebook and saying, hey, we're going to Hawaii for 2 weeks. That investment invites people to come and visit your house to see what you got in it, So they don't want to put all that information. Know that the people are strangers. This was kind of weird, okay? I just showed this to a group and they said, oh my God, the acronyms, look at these. I had no idea about all of them except for 1 or 2. These are acronyms that are used by students that are just quick 4-letter acronyms that we have no idea about as parents in many cases, okay? But these are the things that they do, and they are able to communicate with each other because they know them, and you are standing next to them and they're typing, and you don't know that they just said, hey, my mom's standing behind me. Okay, so go to this website and learn these acronyms just because you never know. And occasionally, if you guys decide you want to be this kind of parent, like I'm this kind of parent, occasionally we might have to do a phone check. Let me, hey, I don't want to read all your stuff. I just want to, look through quickly, and you can stand there, but you ain't using these things, are you? Matter of fact, the funny thing, I had a student the other day that was on with their father, as a matter of fact, and she said, oh my God, I don't know half these things. Man, these are new to me. So you got to watch out for that. You want to make sure that you know what they know. So these are limit screen time and so forth, but these are some ways, and once again, how to know the signs. They suddenly become shy. all of a sudden they go from a power Facebook user to never want an open Facebook. You know, there's signs that you need to look for, but this website will teach you exactly what you need to know as far as being able to be on top of all that. Okay, let's see, there's cyberbullying right there. Once again, last page talks about protection initiative. My son one day was trying to win a free iPad and something came across his iPhone and he decided he's gonna fill out this application, not knowing that it was signing us up for a $9.95 monthly fee. Until I got the bill on the third month and realized, whoa, what is this for? And they were only willing to take off 1 month. I wasn't happy about that. And come to find out it was because he had tried to sign up for something, okay? So let students know that they're gonna be marketed to through their phone and to be careful about that because that's just the new way. It used to be, you know, through TV, now it's directly bypasses you and is on their phone, which they look at, you know, for 6-7 hours a day. And once again, that youth crisis line. If you know a student or your student knows a student or whatever the case may be that needs to talk about something, you know, whatever the case may be, they can call this crisis line 24 hours a day. A good friend of mine is the director of this organization, and they will be able to, you know, talk with the student and see if they can get them the right guidance or point them in the right direction and give them the help that they need. And lastly, once again, the Cal State, once again, I'm a consultant, so I always talk about them, but you getting that college degree is a great investment. Once again, I also do say that it's not the ultimate. Not having the college degree does not mean that the students can't do well. Just, you know, let them know that. There are a lot of students, Steve Jobs didn't get his degree. I mean, he decided, you know, to go directly into being an entrepreneur. A lot of people have done that. Or Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, one of them. But one of the billionaires out there, it can be done. But nowadays, the college degree, as I tell students, it's not, you know, so you did this and you really, you know, delve deep into something. They just want to know, have you had the discipline to do it? And are you teachable? That's the thing is, having that degree means that you have the discipline to stick it out, and it's going to be easier for me to teach you what you need to know in order for you to be successful working in my company. So that's really the focus of the getting the degree. Okay, so that is it. And before I go and show you how to get your membership, was this good information? Was this helpful information? Yes, good stuff. Okay, let's see. Why don't you unmute everybody? Are there any questions? Any questions that anyone has? Maybe we can unmute for a second. Let me take a sip of water. And any kind of questions we have?
No, you said you also do consulting. Is that for this piece, or is this some other business?
No, actually, that's a different business. In this case, what I do with this is we have a series of in-depth conversations. So we talk about, once again, that whole, you know, study techniques and so forth. On page 1, we talk about, you know, the Fafsa. We talk about different subjects in different webinars. And we'll see if we can put some of those together for you guys. But no, the consulting is on a completely different thing. That's in the website design world.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Before we end, I know you're still probably picking up some questions to ask. I just want to remind everyone, like Mr. Moore said, that we'll be sharing this recording. We're uploading it to the videos on Wooten and our YouTube page as well. But if you want the video sent directly to you, I will send it. If you can put your email in the chat box, like the other presentations that we have, and I will send it to you, and then you have a place to ask any further questions or any resources Mr. Moore wants to share as well.
Yeah, and if you would like also, we have a newsletter that we send out on a monthly basis. And if you like to have access to that newsletter, once again, please send the email to Rebecca, and then I will she'll send it to me so I can include you in our newsletter. And if you'd like to learn more about our different webinars that are available, that's the way that you'll need to do that also. Send that email and I will add you to a list so we can make sure we get that information.
Great.
Okay. So lastly, our website, lifeprepacademy.org. That is, once again, our website where we house all our information. Once again, we have those scholarships up there. We work with schools and groups. But for you to create your membership, what you want to do is to come to the website and come directly to log in and hit create membership. There we go. Okay, so when you click on create membership, it'll take you to a create membership page. In the first box here, this is the coupon box, and you're going to type in Wooten. That's all you need to do. W-O-O-T-E-N. Doesn't matter if it's caps or not. And click apply. And as you can see right here, this bar says discount 100% off. So this will give you a complimentary membership for the website. And once you finish that, what I'll need you to do is complete the profile, your first and last name, email, give yourself a nice screen name. You can be as fun as you want with that. Create a password, nice and strong. And then very importantly, down here at the bottom, where it says enter promo again, please put that Wooten in there again. Okay, that way, that tells me how many of the memberships that I have assigned to Wooten have been used. And I can let Naomi know that these are, we've had 6 of the 500 memberships that I assigned for you have been used, and these are the people that have signed up, okay? So, but it's very important that you put that in there again. And once you go through that whole process, it will take you back to the home page. And when you're ready to log in, you just go to the login and click on login. And you put in your username and email, hit the login button. And now, as you can see, you have also access to that resource I was telling you about, that transition aid resource for foster, homeless, probation, immigrant, and special needs youth. This is the other one, so you can go between the two if you'd like. So here's the main one that you saw today, and you can just flip through the pages. Of course, you can expand it if you want to make it full screen, or you can go to the other book and look at those resources in there also. Okay.
That is great, Mr. Moore. So since we upload this recording to our website and to our YouTube page for our parents, would that be available for anybody who wasn't able to join us tonight?
Yes, it will.
That's very generous. Thank you. Thank you.
For all the Wooten parents, yes. Yes. So that is it. I hope this was helpful. I really do. And once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, or at least customize, I should say, a pre and post survey that we usually send out. And I'm going to send that out to Rebecca, and she will send it out to you guys. And please, once again, answer the pre and the post. So let me know how well we did. I say I started off, I was probably a 3 or 4, but now I'm an 8 or 9. And that's what I see all the time. So that's what I'm hoping, is that you're able to do that. Go from a 3 or 4 to 8 or 9. And if it wasn't, then I didn't do my job. You got to come back and see this presentation again. All right.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Moore. We really appreciate your time sharing your valuable information, and for the generosity in letting us access your website and all of that really valuable stuff that our youth need access to, and us as parents too. So thank you so much. I have everybody's email. I will be sharing the resources that you've shared with us, the video as well. And please look for that pre and post evaluation too, to help him be better and provide resources a little bit better for our parents. So thank you, Mr. Moore.
You're very welcome, and thank you all for attending. I look forward to, by the way, I am a resource, not just today. If you need me, reach out to me via email. You can also reach me at the bottom of the page here. There's an email address, lifeprep@educate California, that comes directly to me. But reach out to me if you have questions. I'm pretty busy, but at the same time, I'll try to get back with you in 24 to 48 hours. So anything you need, let me know. Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take care. You have a wonderful evening. Okay.
You good night.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you.
So Mr. Moore, will that be? Oh, never mind. Good night.
No, I had 2.